So, another week.
Welcome.
It's Derby week.
Hell yeah, it is. Go time, baby.
Dude.
Put them rags in their place this week again.
I think after a lackluster week, we should be just throwing all the fire that we can for this week. These results have not been great. But before we get too far into that,
You are now tuned into the Snobby Boy Podcast.
All right, everybody, welcome to the show. My name is Colby. That's always Joe, Mr. Chillington.
That's me.
That's him. We want to first welcome you guys. Thank you for tuning in. Definitely want to see that you hit the like, hit the subscribe, hit the bell for notifications. Definitely hit us in the comments, man. We love that shit. You guys should be in it. A little bit of an overview of what we're doing today. We're going to talk about the Brentford match. We're going to talk about the Bournemouth match. We're going to finish it up with our midweek match for the FA Cup against Luton Town. And then finally, the Manchester Derby this weekend. So before we get into that, we'll do, as we do every week, our little t-shirt ad. We want to say big shout out to Capital City Blues. I went and hung out with them this weekend. I know we don't get down there often because we have lives, both being soccer parents and both living quite a ways out of town. So I want to say thank you again for all the support that we got. Definitely sold a couple of t-shirts, which was awesome. They really loved it. Me and my son actually wore the shirt into the match with everybody, and everybody loved it. Gave Scott one. He loved it. If Leah, if you're watching, I got something for you.
Could be you next.
I got something for you, girl. I got something for you. But this is what we're showing everybody.
Check out the limited edition Anti-Journo Club Merchant Ship Edition t-shirt. For details on how to get one of your own, visit our website at snobbyboyspodcast.my.canva.site/podcast and get yours today. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram for a chance to win a shirt. Cheers, mates.
And just a reminder that contest does end on February 29th, and we will be announcing the winner on the following weekend, which would be that Sunday. So we had Brentford again. This was a makeup match from the Club World Cup match that we had. World fucking champions.
Don't forget it.
Don't fucking forget it. As we do every week, we had a little bit of a predicted lineup. Ederson, Walker, Stones, Diaz, Ake, Rodri, Kova, De Bruyne, Silva, Foden, Holland at the top. One of the things that I have noticed, I want to say over the course of maybe the last couple of months, even before the winter break, teams are playing us very narrow, and they're consistently leaving spaces open out on the wide. And you would think that with that being accessible to us and how well we play the ball in from the wing, that we'd be able to execute on having that space. But every week we get proved wrong.
I have an answer for you on that too.
Go ahead.
I have an answer for you as to why we haven't been able to exploit that, and that's because our wide players are more designed and have their style of play is more direct, dribble at you, take people on, and go at people. We don't have true wingers that are looking just to take it wide and hit balls in from the outside. Jack, that's not what he does. He's taking people on. Doku, same thing. He's taking people on. When Bernardo's out there, he's trying to get the ball into his left foot and come inside and link up play there. And Kyle Walker, who's not known for being a fantastic crosser of the ball, he's the only guy that plays out wide when he's pushed forward as a right back that is looking to cross the ball. Really, we don't have guys that are just looking to spray the ball in. We're looking to, our style of play now is to connect those little passes and pass the ball through people instead of knocking balls in from wide position. So I think other teams have realized that and are willing to give our guys space out there, but compact, because inside we have Kevin and Phil and Jules and Holland, and they all know that those are the danger men. Crazy thing is Kevin is probably our best crosser, and he's not often out wide. He's by far our best passer and crosser. His vision is second to none in the world at this point. So he's our best crosser, and he's occasionally will pop out wide when Phil tucks in, and they alternate that a little bit. But generally he's more central, and he's our best crosser. So that's I think why teams have been playing us a lot more narrow lately and giving us that space, because they recognize that is the area they want us to have the ball in, and that they don't want to see us in the middle, because Phil has been so dangerous lately, picking the ball up inside and the half turn and finding space and dribbling people and taking people on in that space. He's when they get him the ball there, good things happen for us and bad things happen for the other team. So they're certainly packing that space to try to limit the operational space of Foden and Kevin when he's in and Bernie. So
yeah, absolutely. One of the big things that we're going to take away from this match, as we did the last match against Brentford, is the play of Flecken. Bro, where did this guy come from? Who is he?
Haven't really heard of him until we played him twice, and he had fantastic games both times.
Yeah, look, his shot stops were damn. Like, if we didn't have Ederson, I'd be like, hey, that guy.
Well, that's what I was talking to Zach from our Blue v Blue pod that I do with him with Chelsea about that, and I was like, hey, like, this is a guy to watch. He's somebody that you're going to want to keep your eye on, and a big club is going to come calling, because he's a great shot stopper, and he's proven that he can play with the ball at his feet and distribute the ball well too. So I think he's somebody to look out for in the summertime that's going to be moving on to bigger clubs to will allow him to showcase himself more.
Who can you see him with? Like, what team right now in the Premier League is hard up for a fucking goalkeeper?
The big clubs, all for the most part, are set. It seems like. Of course. I don't see United moving on from Onana quite yet. Chelsea.
I didn't even think about it. Maybe.
I if I was them, I would, but they're not the smartest tools in the shed. So they probably aren't going to give up on him. If you're Chelsea, you have Petrovic, who's done really well, and Sanchez is still there, who the Poch seems to like. Arsenal just made a new move for David Raya and still have Ramsdale, so they're not probably looking for a keeper. Liverpool's got Alisson, and he's still got several years of quality play left. So it's like, and Tottenham seems like their young guy too. He's fairly fresh and he's played well. So if he's looking for a bigger club, it might be go find some space in a different league if he wants to get to a bigger club. Bayern's going to need somebody soon, because they don't have. That's true. They don't. Neuer's only got so much left in the tank.
Granddad.
Yeah.
Granddad. So we actually didn't share the actual starting lineup from our predicted. I'm going to let it pass this time. I think actually we did pretty good. Fuck it, let's bring it up. Ederson, Walker, Stones, Diaz, Kanji, Rodri, Silva, Foden, Alvarez, Bob was the change there, and Holland.
So still pretty good.
Starting. Yeah.
I love that he got the start.
I love that he got the start too. It was his first Premier League start. Moreover, the fact that I feel like he deserves it right now. We need a little bit more rotation. I felt like this was a good game for him to get the rotation. He had, and we'll get this into a little bit. He had, God damn it, that goal should have gone.
God
damn it.
God damn you, Ben Mee. He had a very good game, though. He had a great game.
He had a great game. He had a great game. And he's somebody that I don't really rate that high as a defender. And I think maybe that just stands to the testament of the fact that he plays for Brentford. And that's me looking down and being a conceited asshole. I don't know.
See the snobby boy name. See the snobby boy name.
But yeah, he had an absolutely stellar game against us. Right after the Flecken thing, Alvarez had a shot from the outside that went wide. Yeah. I like that he took the chance, but I feel like, and if you can remember what was happening during that play, there were spaces open. It could have been distributed around, and they could have found a lane. But like, he really wanted the goal. You could totally tell that.
He feels, I think, is putting pressure on himself to perform because he knows that he hasn't been as effective as he has been earlier in the season. Yeah. So I think he's definitely pressing a little bit and is looking to get back on the score sheet to get himself in a better mood. Because as strikers, you feel better when you see the ball go in the back of the net. Your confidence goes up, and when it hasn't happened in a long time, you start to feel it, and you start to put a little more pressure on yourself. So especially when you're somebody who plays the same position as Erling Haaland. You're not like always fighting for minutes with him because they've been playing together a lot. But in this squad, when you have players like Foden and Silva and De Bruyne and Doku and Grealish, there's so much competition for starting spots in that attacking fourth or fifth, depending on the lineup that we have.
Right.
When you're not putting the ball in the back of the net or assisting or making a big impact, you know that somebody else is going to be taking your space and your minutes. Yeah. So you want to make good chances, and you want to take advantage of opportunities when they come.
Yeah.
And speaking of opportunities, there were lots of them in this first half for us. There were so many opportunities, and either we were just wide, we were just off. Their defender makes a crazy clearance off the goal line, or Flecken stands on his head again. It seemed like we probably should have had 3 or 4 in that first half, at least.
Yeah.
But Brentford was able to keep us out.
One of the other things that I see a lot that we're doing, especially when we get in the box, is balls go up, balls get heads. And it happens too often, in my opinion. We need to find a few more different ways to play in the ball. It's becoming predictable, almost as predictable as Doku's left step or right step.
Got to add some counter moves in there for him and for the whole club.
And going back on Jules, like him playing out on the wing, obviously not this game, but yeah, he did, didn't he?
He floated a bit during this one, yeah.
Floated. So well, everybody fucking floats around the front.
Yeah,
but
exactly. When he's been out on the wing.
But he works out so much better centrally. It doesn't even have to be the striker role. Even if he's in a center attacking mid role, he does so much better, in my opinion. The wing, for me, with him playing out on the wing, I feel like it'll be better employed if we were doing a false 9, and we're not anymore.
Right. Yep,
and
I agree with that for sure. He is more effective when he's picking the ball up in tight spaces centrally and attacking people, not taking people on wide and then trying to put the ball across. He's much better in that central space, and he's clearly more comfortable there too, because that's where he's predominantly played growing up and with City. So,
right after that, Walker headers it back into the box for Bernie, misses wide. Akanji takes one well outside the top of the box. Flecken stops it again.
On frame,
was
great save. Yeah. Yep. Good hit by Akanji too, because that's not his strong suit, hitting long range shots. But that particular one was a good one.
Homie, you know what I'm about to say, right?
Yes.
Homeboy ain't got no goddamn ball skills. How he rocketed that one from like an extra 5, 6, 7 yards.
And it had some dip on it too. Like there was some movement on that ball. So I was like, oh, okay, man, I see you. Doing your thing out there, Manuel. Keep doing that if you're gonna play there, buddy.
I'm not mad at it, but I really just, as we've talked about earlier in other podcast or in other episodes, his play out of the back is not good. It's scary. And not in a good way. You don't know what you're gonna get on.
Yep. And when we get to our review of the next game, where Stones was operating in that space, in that same role, the difference was noticeable. So we'll get to that one in our next. And when we get to that, when we get to the Bournemouth game, we'll talk about that. But
yeah. And again, Diaz, another header from a ball in from Rodri, and then we had the Ben Mee stop, bro. Let's just hone in on that for a second. I don't know if it was just me. I don't know if it was y'all out there sitting watching. I don't know if it was you, Joe. I swore on everything that ball crossed the line.
I started raising up off the couch, like celebrating it, and then I was like, "Wait a second! Nobody else is celebrating."
I straight up pulled my fucking scarf off, threw it across the room, and started screaming. And then I was like, "Fuck! Fuck!"
Like, how are you in that space? Why are you even fucking there, Ben Mee? Like, you have no business being on the fucking line right there, and you were in the right spot. God,
where did it come from?
The composure from Oscar in the box, because he took the ball and took a couple of touches to find that. The composure for a 20-year-old who's starting in his first Premier League match and hasn't had a whole lot of game time with us. We have a special talent on our hands with that kid. He is going to be fantastic. He's already great, and he's only 20 years old and hasn't been with the first teams with Pep for too long. Just imagine what it's going to be like when he is
our own.
Oh, yes, he is. He's Academy grad. Oscar Bob. He's one of our own.
I absolutely, same. Just same. He makes me look forward to the future. I'll say that. Let's see. Where are we at? Rodri Alvarez, the Holland. We know how that went. Homeboy tripped over himself, gave the breakaway.
That's not the person you want to give a breakaway to.
No.
No. Yeah. And you saw as soon as he stumbled, he would put his hands out. It was like falling down. He was like, no.
Let's be fair. Holland totally turned on another fucking gear after that trip. Yeah.
Gone.
Yeah.
Showcase the speed for sure.
He needed that goal so bad. But did it translate to the following match? We'll get into it later.
Teaser for you.
Brentford tried their best to even it, spreading out the formation.
They brought in, I think they used almost their whole allotment of subs. So kudos to Thomas Frank for at least trying to go for it a little bit and not just being like, well, we're going to lose, so why don't we just try to limit the damage as much as possible. He at least changed what they were doing to try to be more progressive and try to be more offensive. So at least they attempted, because a lot of teams we played just will go hide into their shell and try to just finish up without getting 2 or 3 more scored on them.
Yeah, and then after that goal, I mean, there were tons of possession up till Foden. He weaved in, took shot.
Brilliant run.
Brilliant run. Sure. Could have done better on the finish, man. That's what she said.
I was almost fucking positive that bad boy was going to the back of the net when that happened. When I saw him break it away, I was like, oh, that's a goal. That's going to be 2-0. No problem. And then I was like, Phil, what happened, buddy? My boy.
Yeah, that is also becoming a trend over the last few games. Perfectly good shots that should be going in, and they aren't. Like, what's happening to our players at that and those final milliseconds before that ball gets shot in? Like, is there like a mental breakdown? Like, I just don't get it. I don't get why we're not making these shots. I mean, that shot from Foden, and that should have been nothing more than a lift, and it was over top of Flecken. So,
and right now, he's our most informed player, so that's the guy you want to see the ball fall to in those positions because he's been finishing everything lately. So the fact that he missed that one is like,
oh, that definitely killed his confidence a little bit for the rest of the game. You could definitely tell that. He puts in 150% every fucking match. So can't fold him too hard. Can't fold him too hard. Yeah, Flecken again keeps Foden out of the net on what would have been that Flecken.
Sometimes the goalie just makes a good play too, but Phil could have finished that one better. So a little bit of both going on there.
Yeah, this after watching this match, it left me with a lot of questions going forward. Even with us having Bournemouth next, knowing where they're at on the table, knowing that they don't quite have the caliber of team to go up against us, maybe that's a little presumptuous, as it turned out, because in the next match, we should have scored more. There's got to be something that clicks this week, and I really hope that the Luton match gives it that jolt before we go into the derby. It's high time that we started showing the league why we or who the fuck we really are. It leaves a lot of emotions, I think, for all of us to just sit here and say we're only beating these mid-level, low-level teams 1-0. It's just not a good look. It's just not a good look. And again, that's probably the place to see.
You certainly want to see against those ones 3-4-0 kind of thing to be able to pad the old goal differential a little bit. That's
especially
with Liverpool, City, and Arsenal within 2 points of each other. Like you goal differential could seriously come into play at some point. So it's not ideal, obviously, to not be putting in multiple goals against teams we should probably beat by that scoreline. I do think the greater City community in general need to understand that ultimately the 3 points is what we needed out of those games because we wanted to stay just 1 point behind Liverpool and keep the pressure on them because eventually they're going to trip up and we want to be right there within striking distance. So maybe that we don't have to put all of our eggs into the one basket of hoping we beat them, pretty much and Arsenal too in this next 5-game stretch. Because they're going to slip up. They're not going to go undefeated the rest of the way. Be it losing or drawing to us or another game where they drop points. They're going to drop some points. So ultimately beating the teams below us have to do that. And that's what they've been doing, even though the score lines and at times the performance, because there were good moments in both these matches this week where they played really beautiful, great City football. But then there was other times during both games where you're like, that doesn't look like our club. And that's to be expected. These dudes have played an unreal amount of football over the past 3 to 4 years, going all the way back to that, because especially this year, but even before, like just going on, they've played deep in all 4 competitions almost every season. And that's so many more games than your average player on a mid-table team who's not competing long into the Carabao Cup, long into the FA Cup, deep into the Champions League, and then also having the Club World Cup. And then we have so many players who are playing internationally too that every international break, they're not getting a rest there either. So our dudes have played a ton of football, and eventually it's going to catch up. And then you're going to get results where we don't win 4-0. We only win 1-0.
We got a great question that just came in. At what point do you become concerned about goal difference? Well, I mean, now kind of. I mean, we are in the business end of the season. And with what Joe just said, we're only a couple points away. At this point, I think the live table stands at we are 1 off until Liverpool play on Wednesday. But the goal differential, the amount of goals that they're pouring in is the gaps get a little wider every time we're only scoring one.
Arsenal has a better goal differential than both us and Liverpool. Liverpool's goal differential sits at 38. We're at 33, and Arsenal is at 39. So for me, I'm not stressing about it. It's definitely in the back of my mind, like, hey, we probably need to pick up a goal or two here. But as it stands, since we have a game against both of those two clubs in the next 4 weeks, whatever it ends up being, if we draw those games and it keeps getting tighter, then I'm going to be a lot more concerned. If we win those two matches and we start building a little bit of a cushion, I'm going to feel a lot better about it, obviously. But it's definitely something to monitor. I don't think right now we need to be like looking at every scoreline yet. But it's definitely something to keep an eye on every time you go in and check the table and look at the results from the other clubs when they come in. So keep an eye on it for sure. For me, I'm not going to get super stressed until after those Liverpool and Arsenal matches that we have coming up.
I was just thinking that as well. I think the month of March really is when you need to start taking that a little bit more seriously. Now you can start looking at it and say, we should probably up that a little bit. But yeah, definitely March because of the slot of games that we have against the clubs that we have. I mean, Arsenal, Liverpool, I believe
United,
Aston Villa,
Brighton, and Brighton too.
Yeah,
so it's
Brighton.
The next 5 are going to be tough.
Feel bad for Brighton, dude. I really do, because they came into this season with really high hopes. Zebri was touted to basically be the next Pep, and he between were they in Europa or Europa Conference? Europa?
I think they were in the Conference League last time.
Yeah, okay. And I mean, and that's a big deal for them. So having that competition plus the stress of the PL, I don't know. There was a lot of high hopes going for them, and they have literally shat the bed. I feel really bad for them. So I really saw them being at least in the top 6 this year. But
they're sitting at 7th right now, so they're
not far out. It's just
but people expected them to take the next step up and join that consistently being in the European football competition, the top tier, not the Conference League, but the Europa spot or potentially a Champions League spot. So obviously we're jumping a little ahead, but we're having fun talking about the upcoming stuff right now. So our next 5 are all against teams in the top 7 right now as we stand today on February 25th. So these next 5 are hyper critical and super duper important. Every game that's coming up is going to be a dogfight, and we're going to need those points. And as long as we get those points, that's what matters right now. If we drop any points within those 5, then we want to start for sure looking at that. But if we win those 5, we're in fantastic shape moving forward. Because once Pep and this City team, who are so experienced coming down the stretch, if they have a lead going in, they're not going to relinquish that shit. They're just not. People aren't going to catch us. And we have experience catching people. So again, it's not the, end of the world if we drop a point or 2 here, but, we're going to feel real good about ourselves if we check back in by the end of March and we've pulled 12 to 15 points out of that stretch.
I really hope that the Chelsea match doesn't come back to bite us in the ass. That's my
both of them dropping points.
Yeah, that's my biggest fear going forward. I can see these other teams dropping points at some point. It's bound to happen. Am I going to count on it? I don't know. I don't know. This is probably, of the seasons that I've watched so far, the tightest I've seen the race, and there's not a real picture yet. There's still a lot of blurred lines, and especially going into March. So I don't know.
Great fucking question, and led to a really good discussion. So thank you for dropping the comment in, man. That was a really good question, and
that's why we love it.
So awesome question, and thank you for hanging with us and interacting with us, dude. That was good convo.
Yep. Absolutely. We're going to take our little intermission here real quick. Then we're going to get back to the Bournemouth match. Followed up, like we said, about Luton and United at the weekend. So stay tuned, and we'll be back in a second. I like that one.
That's good. That's good stuff.
Yeah. Like that edit. So here we are at the Bournemouth match. Just happened this past weekend. Where I got
yesterday, in fact.
Yesterday, in fact, you're right. Yeah, Jesus, dude, it was a long day. It was a long day for me.
Hell yeah, dude.
Jeez. Yeah, got to go hang out with the Capital City Blue peeps. Met some really great people that I haven't seen in there before. Absolutely good time. And I'm going to say, whoever's listening from Cap City Blues, I love being an ugly mug more than Valor. I said it. Valor's cool. It's typically my type of scene. I like the brewery style. I like the metal tabletops and all that shit. Like that's super cool to me. But like the atmosphere upstairs, whole other vibe. Way better. Way
Spot
better.
on.
Especially the backside, on the backside of the bar, bro. Dude, that's quality. That is quality. Yeah, that was my first time going there. If you whatever.
Going there when it was the ugly mug.
When it was the ugly mug, I've been there.
I've been a couple of times. Yeah,
quite a few times. Yeah.
I wish, on that note, on a quick side note, I wish that you could have came to Lucky Bar when it was Lucky Bar for Capital City Blues. The vibe there was. I'm wondering.
I have. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, you're good because
I have such an alternate perspective of Lucky Bar.
I'm sure.
Like, so I want to say about like 6-7 years ago, a couple of friends, we consistently go down to DC, specifically Echo Stage, but we would sometimes go over to Con Ave and hit some of the bars over there. Lucky Bar just happened to be one of them. That place gets wild at night, bro. Like, and Echo Stage is for the most part, electric dance music type club, biggest acts in the country. I've seen a lot of crazy shit go down in that place, and I've been a part of some of that crazy shit. But it did not touch the Lucky Bar. Like, I walked out of there that night with my friends, and I don't know. I think it was the empanadas after.
There, yes, that'll
dude,
do it.
Those empanadas downstairs were fucking what? Chef's kiss. So let's get into our predicted starting 11 against Bournemouth. Well, I didn't mean to do that. It just happened. Did the wrong download. That's what it was.
Y'all got some music with that one this time, so you're welcome.
Right. Let's see how that added up to the actual starting lineup. Quite a bench.
Yeah,
quite a bench. That was the one. What was the one thing I heard across the entire bar yesterday was, "What?" Yeah. Why are all these people sitting on the bench?
Yeah.
Walker was the one that I had a real hard time getting my head around how they put a Kanji actually at right back.
Yep.
Somehow still floated over, played centrally. As we said earlier, homeboy should not be pulling balls up the field for shit. He's a defender. Just let him defend. He's good
because he's great at that part of the game.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I'm just really blown by that pick for this game. This plays into the we need to start burying people, and I felt like Kyle Walker has gained a rhythm, working the point basically. You take that flow away from our game plan, and what do we really have? I mean,
we talked about that earlier when we asked that question about teams marking us centrally and giving us that space. If Kyle's not in, we don't have width on that right side. There isn't anybody pushing that high. John, even when John played right back, that's not his forte, is to get that far forward. We had Kyle putting balls in from the opponent's goal line, heading it across, pulling the ball back into the middle of the box from the end line. He's always up and down that flank, getting forward. And when he's not there, and he plays Stones or Akanji there, and then on the right side, it was Bernie sometimes, and occasionally Nunez. It was that for this game against Bournemouth, we didn't really know who was going to pop up where because everybody was fucking everywhere. So we just didn't have that piece. That piece was missing the entire game for Bournemouth, where we had no width and pace on the outside. We had lots of guys in the midfield looking to move around and shift and didn't know who was going to pop up where, which was my thing with this lineup. I was excited to see what Kova could do with Nunez as the two kind of in the middle. Kova, I thought, had a really good game. Nunez, I don't think anybody was particularly bad. We were just kind of overloaded in the middle, and that's where Bournemouth had all their players too. So there just wasn't a whole lot of room for people to operate because they all like to operate in that same space.
Yeah. You nailed that. I don't even have anything to say. Nunez. Okay, so one of the things that we were talking about before we came on was Nunez. Him getting the start. He was an absolute nuisance all half, by the way. But one of the things that we saw a little bit different from him this match compared to others that he's played in is that he was a little bit more left in this one. He actually got down in the corner quite a few times.
Mm-hmm.
That's not his typical play, and I honestly don't know whether I am for him playing on the left side like that, especially playing as deep as he did, or if he needs to kind of reduce his role back to being a little bit more central. I thought he did a really good job on the day. Should it go forward that way? I don't know. I mean, maybe it is an experiment against the lower team. I can certainly see it against Luton. But
he's got the pace to play out there. He's quick. He's a lot faster than I realized when I watched him with Wolves. When I see him on us, he's pretty freaking quick when he wants to be. So he's got the pace to play out there. It's just getting comfortable because he's played centrally his entire career with Wolves and with us. That's just where he plays. Yeah. He's most comfortable. And when you put a player who's got a rhythm and a cadence and a comfortability in a position and you ask them to play somewhere new, it's always going to take a little bit of time to get adjusted to that because you have to see things. You're just doing so many things differently when you're out wide compared to when you're in the middle. There's a lot. It's a big difference. People think it's still football. You're just playing football. No, it's very different. If you're out wide, if you're middle, you're doing different things. Your feet are, doing different things. You're up against the touchline. When you're in the middle, you have space to operate. You're peeking over your shoulder differently when you're scanning. So everything is different when you're playing out there. So the fact that we have so many guys who can play multiple positions is a big kudos to Pep and the backroom staff to train these guys and the players themselves to be have such a high football IQ to be able to pick up new positions fairly quickly, because these guys aren't getting there. You're obviously getting a lot of training time with Pep to do it, but in game situations, they're picking up fairly well. Even Akanji, who's not a center mid, against lower level teams, he's not terrible. He's not great. He's not John Stones. John Stones has made that position like he's set the bar, and nobody's going to get to that as a natural center back playing the way he does. People who just can't do what he does because he's unique. He's a unicorn in that situation. So,
Bernie was here, there, and every fucking where. Homeboy was playing center back in the first 10 minutes.
And pinging long balls like it was nobody, like no big deal. Like I do this all the time. Like
I don't know if it was just me. I mean, you can hit us in the comments with this, but like I was really confused for the first 10 minutes of what the fuck was going on, because nobody was playing anywhere remotely close to where they normally play. And I mean, I know Pep is wildly like that sometimes, and he throws out some fucking curveballs, but that really threw me for a loop, because I felt like there was so much disorganization. I felt like maybe the preparation before this match wasn't good enough. That it just kind of felt like everything was out of place. I mean, we found our form. We got back into a rhythm as the half went on.
It was a little bit like schoolyard ball.
Yeah, it
at times.
Yeah, it was really just go fill a space. That's what it felt like.
Mm-hmm.
Kova had a beautiful ball over the top to Holland that went for that goal, or a shot on goal. I'm sorry, shot on goal. Foden did what we have been screaming about: pick up the fucking garbage,
crash the fucking net.
That was I can't explain to anybody how important I feel that is within this sport. I feel like, and you're talking to somebody who didn't play, so maybe you didn't practice or training once, but boxing out, like basketball boxing someone out, that needs to be implemented a lot more. It fits within the rules. And making sure that you crash the goal after the shot. You got to clean up the shit.
And we saw the fruition of that. Phil was in the right spot. Holland hit a really difficult shot, and the keeper parried it away. As a keeper, you want to collect that one, but if you can't, your job is to just push it away as far as you can and hope that your defenders are also crashing the net to clean up the trash. They didn't. Mm-hmm. Phil was in acres of space all by himself and had an easy tap in. And for him, love that. You love to see that. We appreciate it. And it's funny that you brought up the boxing out basketball thing and crashing the net, because those are the two things that I was hammering home to my daughter's U13 team for indoor soccer yesterday. Because in indoor soccer, there is no offsides. It's just
right.
So what I was teaching our strikers to do was, when Jordan, who plays keeper, scoops one, collects it, she's quickly looking to do a hammer over the top to send you in on goal. So don't trap the ball and stop the ball. She's trying to throw you into the space that you need to run into. Right. So what you need to do is use the rules to your advantage. There's no offside. So get on the goal side of the defender, seal them like you're playing fucking basketball, and then let the ball run into space. You're in, and you have a one-on-one with the keeper every time. So it's funny that you mentioned that, because I was like, I just had this conversation with our strikers yesterday during the match.
And it should be being taught at that age range, learning how to do those specific things, even an outdoor ball, like it will help create so many chances that would have normally not been there had you not.
The small margins like that can make such a big deal in this sport.
As we said, Nunes was a whole nuisance.
Their players, their fans, like every time he got tripped or fouled, their fans were just giving him the business. Their players looked like they were going. Every time he had the ball, they looked like somebody was trying to clip his heels and had an attitude with him every time he went down. When they clearly fouled him, like, you guys got him. He's not going down just to flop. Like, you guys kicked him in the shins or stepped on his foot or whatever. So it's not like he's making a meal out of it, but he was definitely getting under their skin. And I love when we have players who do that.
Yeah.
Because it throws them off their game, and they are more concerned about what he's doing and less concerned with the instructions that they've been given from their coach. So good job, Nunez. Keep doing that. You and Jack and some of our other guys are great at getting Bernie, same thing, getting under their skin, and love it. Keep it up.
Yeah. So Foden, as we said, boys, he's a dream. He's an absolute dream. He played on a little narrow at times, but I think that was all because of how many central mids that we have on at a time. I'm looking for words here, and I don't have them. I'm looking for words. I don't know why it muted me. That's weird. His first touch ability, his ability to take the ball and turn, bar none. I mean, that wasn't really displayed in this game, but bar none, one of the best, if not the best, in the game right now. The influence that he brings on with him for all the players around him, you can't really say that he doesn't. Like he inspires everybody around him, and he helps get into positions to help the team. It's not just about him, and that's one of the things that I love about him. He doesn't really play selfish ball, but when he gets the ball, he can be an absolute terror. Absolute terror.
He is brilliant going forward. Like, let's not kid ourselves. He is fantastic in everything that comes with offensive football, but his desire to win the ball back for us quickly after it's been turned over, him and Bernie and Jules, watching those three just hunt balls when we've turned the ball over quickly, that's one of the biggest things and keys to Man City is they're going to turn the ball over. When you pass the ball around 700 times in a match, you're going to have a few miscues. But the goal there is always to win the ball back within 2 or 3 seconds. If you can win it back quickly, then you can then transition back into offense when they're pushing forward, and now you have numbers going the other way. So having so many players who are wonderfully talented going forward, but will also put in the work defensively. They're two-way players,
Yes.
and you want to have that, and especially from players who are that fucking good. So I love it. I love watching him play. He's fantastic, and he's only 23, folks. We have him for so much longer.
I don't really think people realize just how young our team really is.
Mm-hmm.
We may look old because of our current records, but we're not. This is going to persist.
Mm-hmm.
I can't see it really. Obviously, there's going to be players that leave, go on to other, but I feel like for the core going forward, we have everything.
Mm-hmm.
Little pieces here and there. We know Kova is not going to be around for long. He's good, but he's old. He's like Roy Kent right now, except not as angry. Kev's got a couple of years left. We're gonna have to replace him. Bernie, this is a big talking point that I think people should probably get on, and I'm sure it's going to start popping up in the media soon if it isn't already. Bernie doesn't have a contract with us next year, which means he's free to go.
There's been chatter, I think, because I think when they restructured his deal, they extended it, but they put an official release clause in there.
Oh, they did.
So if he wants to go, they extended it into 2026, and there's a release clause in there. So we have him, but it's 50 million euros. So if he decides he wants to go, but that's the thing with him. Does he truly want to go? If he really wanted to go, I think we would have made it happen by now. But it's there in case he decides him and his wife would like to leave, they can go. That way we do get a fee for him and he's not just gone. It's going to work out for both clubs. If need, they're both parties was the word I was looking for. And I did see that the rumors have already started up again that if Bernie decides to leave, would Paquetá be would we go back at him again? Because the journo rumors are that Lucas would be very ready to redo contract talks with us and come our way. But again, who wouldn't want to come play?
Right, exactly. Team? And that's all fine and good. Lucas Paquetá he's not a slouch. He is a good player. I mean, he hasn't really had the time this year, especially with all the outside legal shit that he was dealing with. Is he a like for like?
Not for
Bernie?
Me, no.
Absolutely not. Not at all. And I
don't see anybody that's a like for like for him. You can't replace what he does.
But who out there right now potentially could be his successor in a way? Well, Paquetá and Núñez are very much, in my mind, the same player. So if you're basically bringing in a like for like of another player, but he's not really filling what Bernie can do for us or what he has been. He's a nuisance everywhere. He doesn't really have. I mean, he has a set position, but he's not really ever there. And I don't see that as a strong suit for Lucas Paquetá. I feel like
he's very much an attacking midfielder.
Right. Yeah. And even in the beginning, because we know how it goes, guys. When a player comes in, they need a year to get used to Pep shit. Like it's just the way that it goes. It's just the way that it's been since Pep's been here. And do we really have the time to make another? I'm not going to call Núñez a subpar player. I feel like that's a little harsh. He's not the max player he can be yet because he hasn't fully gotten the system in his head yet. He's still kind of, in ways, I feel, playing for himself. And I feel like if Lucas came in and replaced Bernie, is he just going to be exactly what Núñez was the previous year? I mean, he's not a bad player. Like we said earlier in the episode, he knows how to find the spaces. He actually looked pretty decent out on the left in the last match. I don't know. It's a very subjective thing, and you just don't know what you're getting yourself into and what role Lucas Paquetá could really fill in the midfield.
Yep.
So defensively, very well organized and closing down all the small spaces, keeping shots from getting off. Lots of blocks. We're typically very vocal away.
Gotta love the away fans. They always travel well. Always.
Yeah, exactly. We gotta give a big shout out to them because at times it feels, especially in this season, we're louder away than we are at home. We need to be better at home. Period.
We got to match that energy level that the away fans.
You're talking about 9,000, 10,000 fans versus
50.
40 or 50. Yeah, exactly. One of the things that you were talking about there a minute ago is the difference between Stones and Akanji and the holding mid role and how incredibly noticeable it is.
Yes, very much so. Johnny is so much more comfortable in those spaces. You could see how far forward he was getting. He was almost playing as a second striker at times next to Holland because he was getting so far forward. His ability just on the ball technically is far superior to what Akanji is able to bring. He can dribble and take people on, and he also understands when to get forward and when to kind of hold. So he just the all overall understanding of how to play that position from Stones to Akanji is not comparable. And again, not at fault for Akanji because John has been doing it for over a season. And even before he joined City, the biggest thing that was being talked about with him was his ball playing ability as a center back. So he already had that coming from Everton to City. He already had great ball skills as a center back. And then we just expanded on that with Pep and everybody else in the back room working with him. So he, like we said, has set the bar very high for that holding midfield role, partnering Rodri. The two of them, their movement, because that also allows, when John's in there, allows Rodri a little bit more freedom to operate and move forward and get a little wider. And because he knows he has John back there to cover for him. They have a great understanding of when Rodri goes, John knows I got to stay. If John goes real far, Rodri knows I got to do the seesaw and I got to slide back into the middle and kind of cover for him. And they effortlessly switch back and forth in those roles. So it's really good when he's in there. I love watching John in that role. So
yeah.
Big fan. And Akanji was better. Like, he's much better as a defender, as either a right back who's not necessarily pushing forward or not being asked to do that, but or as a just straight center back. He when he was asked to defend, he was very good, very good in that role against Bournemouth. So I like that. I like it. Play to your players' strengths. Put them in positions where they're comfortable and they're able to be successful.
Mm-hmm. So right about the 60th minute, we cued Doku. He came in for Nunez. There's been a lot of flack that, and I know that's probably an old term at this point, but that's been thrown at him in the comment sections from City supporters, whether it be on the City page, whether it be on whatever. And I want to take this opportunity in talking about the specific subject to shout out our homeboys at the Hollywood Kipbacks. They took a lot of heat this week for Will's take, and it was go Will. I'm going to just say that real quick. Go Will, because he hit that spot on, last nail in the coffin, how everything was going to turn out. And I just, it blows my absolute mind when I read some of the shit that some of these fans say. Like, first of all, the dehumanization of players, that's got to stop. Absolutely has to stop. There's no fucking room for it. It's ridiculous. It's immature. It's childish. If you need some fucking vitamin D, they sell it at the drugstore, because it seems like some of y'all fucking do. Sorry, I'm fucking going in, but it's a really, it really bugs me when I see these ignorant English dudes that are saying dumb Americans, stupid Americans, we don't know it. Actually, one of them was Nigerian. And I see that shit a lot. And it's just like, first of all, you just showed up. You don't know fucking shit. Coming in here telling me anything. This is my fucking show. If you had the fucking balls, you'd have one yourself, but you don't. You just sit in a fucking dark room and talk shit. If that's all you guys got, is to sit in your dark rooms and talk shit about shit that you can't fucking control, go get a life. Because this one ain't the one. Competition was probably never your strong suit. You were probably a fucking nerd. You probably got bullied when you were a kid. And now that you have a fucking voice to be on the fucking internet, you think that you can stand loud and proud. But at the end of the day, you look like a little bitch. So all you guys in the comment section that are ripping on our fucking players and doing all that bullshit, go do one. That's what I got to fucking say.
That was lovely. That was lovely.
Grant.
Turn that shit up when you're listening to this, and it'll get you jacked up. I got goosebumps listening to that. That was good. Because it's true. Like, these players, they're not just clones on your fucking games. They're not. No, they're not NPCs. They're not NPCs. They're real fucking people. Okay. You're a person too. If you're listening to this, you're typing that shit out. You're a person. Do you want to be criticized for every little fucking thing that you do? Do you
Right.
want a bright light shined on your life where people can just pick apart every interaction you have with somebody at the grocery store? Every time you cut somebody off on the highway, people are giving you shit. You're a shitty driver. You suck at this. You shouldn't be driving. You shouldn't be going to the grocery store to buy groceries. Let somebody else fucking do that. No.
Right.
Let them be. Like, I mean, understand and have some compassion.
Vitamin D, 1,000 milligrams a day, assholes.
It's good for you.
It's good for you. Actually, and you know what? You know why I'm saying that? Because I know you all got no sun. I'm sorry. Not our fucking problem. You want to be a fucking miserable prick, do it somewhere the fuck else. Moving on. Bournemouth subs were made. Instant impact for them, by the way. Absolutely instant impact. But it was very short-lived. It was it not?
They had a very good spell where they brought them on. They had a couple of chances. As soon as the substitutions made, put us on our heels a little bit. We had a lot of defending to do, but kudos to the defense and the organization that Diaz and the rest of the defenders had. They were able to repel all of those without really testing Eddie too much. And then once that initial volley happened, we were able to gain control of the match again, get a little more possession, knock the ball around, kill some time off, like we tend to do at the end of matches with a lead. So we made a few changes ourselves. Jules came in for Holland to give him a little breather. KDB came on for Kova to finish off the match.
There was a lot of people mad that Kev didn't start this one and really thought that he was going to. I believe we talked to one of our Cap City Blues people in the comment section about it. Kev, listen, when Kev gets a niggle, you let Kev sit.
Shut that shit down immediately. We don't need no recurring hamstring injuries with him.
No, dude. He's the best player we got. We don't need that right now. We don't need him right now. Is it nice to have him on? Does he change the dynamic of how we play? Absolutely. 120%. But on this day, did we need Kevin? No, we didn't. I mean, we walked away with 3, didn't we?
Why risk him against a club who is desperate for points because they want to stay out of the relegation zone and will take every opportunity they can to try to win a game and disrupt our best players? Case in point, Christie, number 10 on Bournemouth. Fuck right off with that challenge on Kevin. He just came on the goddamn field and you're already taking swipes at him. Get the fuck out of here, dude. Like that, you're now on the shit list, my friend, because we're not doing that with Kev. Not doing it. And that's exactly why you're not giving him a whole long run against these clubs, especially when he just was saying, I can feel a little something. We don't need to do that. We need him for the Derby. We need him for Liverpool. We need him for Arsenal. We don't need him starting against Luton in the FA Cup. We don't need him starting against Bournemouth. We can handle those games.
We have a massive bench, if you didn't see from this game, that we didn't even really touch. I mean, we only subbed. I mean, we subbed 3 out of 5.
3, yeah.
It was 3 out of 5, but I mean, there were still so many options left on the bench that we could have taken over Kev at that point in the match. Or we were still 1-up. Like we said, their substitutions and the run that they had after that was short fucking lived.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That ref. refs.
Per usual.
Refs.
Per usual.
All refs.
In the final little stretch, they did have another little flurry at the end where they were putting some pressure on us, but defensively again, Mint were able to do that. And
we were there.
My last big takeaway was Eddie is back. The Ederson that
is fucking
our new clean sheet leader from the Premier League at Man City. He is back, and all it took was to know this was Solanke was bearing down on him one-on-one, and he casually took a little Cruyff and turned away and was sending Solanke in the dust. That is the Ederson we want to see. We love it. That's how you know he's confident, is when he's dribbling around people, when it's just him and the attacking player bearing down on him. So he was brilliant all game. Distribution, beautiful. Great shot stopping again all week, both games against Brentford and Bournemouth. He was on it. And then once I saw him dispatch Solanke like that, Eddie is back. We have our confident number one back, and it's a beautiful thing to see.
Well, that all just needs to funnel through all the way to the forward position. Man,
Exactly. So 6 points out of a possible 6. You can't complain too much from that, all things considered.
Yeah, for sure. So that wraps up that part of that match. That's over. Now we're looking ahead. We got Luton on Tuesday.
Away, right?
I believe it's in Luton, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Smallest fucking stadium ever. Bro, I'm still gobsmacked by the fact that you have to walk through a fucking Domino's at one part to get in that place. So fucking wild.
Going through row homes.
Bro, if you're living in one of those places, like, you really signed up for that.
Mm-hmm.
You really okayed that people can just walk through your fucking house on match day.
And you're going to have...
All the same, how cool would that be if you were a Luton supporter?
I was just going to say, if I was a Luton supporter and like either a single guy or like just a couple and no kids or anything, that would be fucking awesome. Dude,
house party. I mean, I don't know how they do it over there, but that sounds like a kegger, in my opinion. We need our English
friends to tell us what the English equivalent to a kegger is.
Yeah, what is the equivalent to a kegger over there? Let us know in the comments. I think that would be fantastic to know. But yeah, like, you have 15, 20 of your homies over at the house, pumping the keg, taking keg stands, and then just walking into the game. But here's my question. So at most stadium sporting events here in America, when you go in, you can't leave and come back.
Correct.
Right. So I wonder how it's a little like, do they have security people standing at their back door, like saying, "Oh no, you can't come in now"? Like, you're fucking mad. I would be like, "You're in my house.
Get out.
Get out of my house. I don't pay you. You'll pay rent here."
Right. Start collecting fees as they come through.
But no, like, that would be so dope. Like, open up, your bedroom window upstairs. Say that's the master bedroom, and you're just sticking your head out again, chugging beers.
Right.
So
good stuff.
Every time they lose a ball, chug a beer. Every time they pass, chug a beer. I don't know if any of y'all have ever seen Brockmore before, or Brockmire, excuse me. It was on American Movie Classics. It's Hank Azaria. He plays a functioning drunk of a baseball announcer. And but one of the, I think it was the first season, they're in this shitty little town in the middle of Pennsylvania. Well, it's actually near Pittsburgh, funny enough. And he's announcing this like AAA baseball team. They're horrible. Their whole field has been fracked and could literally ignite at any time. So one of the promos to get people to come in the stadium it was Drink a Beer Day. And they were selling beers for like ridiculous prices. Like, it was like $1 for 2. So a bunch of people, they fucking ran out of beer, whatever. But the whole point of it was during the game, anytime Brockmire said something, it was drink a beer. Like the announcement, drink a beer, do this, drink a beer. Bro, that whole stadium fell the fuck out.
I would imagine so.
If you've never seen Brockmire, please give it a chance. It is so good. So good. My one buddy Matt reminds me of a lot of them sometimes. Right. Yeah, dude. Well, like, we'll be watching games on Sundays, and he'll say something, and it's I can hear the Pittsburgh in him, but then I also hear Hank Azaria's baseball voice in the back of my head.
Yep.
Excellent show if you love sports. So yeah, Luton. What are some things, Joe, that you you would like to see happen with this match with our team as far as lineup, maybe tactics? What would be what's the key to unlocking more than one goal?
I hate to sound like a broken record, but it's going to be finishing. We're going to have to. I think we keep doing what we have been doing, playing the ball the way we have been, interlocking the passes. We just need to finish fucking chances, because both games we had multiple shots on goal that were good opportunities, and we weren't able to finish them. So I don't think it's anything tactically we need to do differently. I don't think it's anything because it's not just one player. It seems like it's a collective effort at this point. So I think it's just somebody, not sure who's going to be on Tuesday, but somebody needs to grab the bull by the proverbial horns and say, I'm going to make a difference early. I think an early goal would be huge. If we keep doing this, going down by a goal early or going into halftime still tied kind of thing, that's when it'll be tough, because they're going to start pressing in the second half a little bit, and you're going to feel a little bit more pressure. So an early goal, I think, will be super important for us to build the confidence to say, hey, this is fucking City. This is how we play. This is us. Let's go score some more. So I think it's going to take some just individual accountability to say, hey, we're going to start finishing these chances, because tactically nothing has changed as far as the ability to pass the ball around, create chances, and play City ball. It's just we have to finish the opportunities that are presented to us.
That's the best take I could ask for. Like, yeah, you're capitalizing on opportunities. I think we're due a trouncing. I think this could be the game where we light things back up. The fire gets reignited. And we need to bring that fire. If that's the way that it does end up, we need to bring that fire come the weekend, because the Manchester Derby, this one, I don't know why. I don't know why, Joe, but this one feels a little bit different. No, I think knowing that Højlund is not going to be in for this, and that's been their key over the last 5-6 matches, not having him there. But let's take a recap of our week content that we put out. Sir, can't call him Mr. Sir Ratcliffe,
yes,
whatever the fuck his stupid name is. That's been the hot ticket in Old Trafford. It is really laughable because they really think that he's going to turn around this club that quick. And I don't think it's going to happen.
We just went through this exercise last season with Ten Hag. He was supposed to come in and change everything for them. He came in and said, all things come to an end, and City and Liverpool's reign is going to end. Guess who's in the top two still? Liverpool and City. So maybe before you start running your mouth about knocking City and Liverpool off their perch and they won't always be around kind of thing, maybe get back in the Champions League for a season before we start yapping about the clubs who have been dominating the Premier League recently. You're not even testing them right now, but you want to keep bringing them up. And when that doesn't happen, you set yourself up for failure and ridicule from your own fan base, who already are pissed off about your owners. Right. So why say shit like that? It doesn't make any sense to me.
It really comes from, I feel like it comes from a place of utter delusion. It doesn't. An investor, the magnitude of an investor that this man is, it's not going to make a difference unless it starts from the top. That organization needs a whole fucking rehaul. The Glazers need to leave, and I obviously don't want to fucking stand up for fucking Reds. I hate them. We hate them here, obviously. But in the same, I want some competition. I want them to put their fucking money where their mouth is. If you're going to talk shit, if you're going to say all these things Oil Club, plastics. I don't give a fuck. Make sure you're producing something before you come out your mouth. And you're not.
Damn near the highest, if not the highest, net spend of
Yeah.
any club in the world with 0 fucking trophies to show for it.
And that's over the course of the last decade.
Y'all ain't doing shit.
There's such a
The hypocrisy level is unparalleled with these people, because they spend all of their time talking down to City and yapping about where our money comes from. Meanwhile, they're spending more than we do. Yeah. And now you're trying to poach our backroom staff and our executives and thinking it's going to change everything for you. But meanwhile, those same people you're banging on for having 115 charges leveled against you, and these people were in place for Man City's charges. So is it okay because they're working for you now, or is it still a bad thing? I don't know. You tell me. The hypocrisy just seems really, really high coming from the red side of Manchester.
You know what's really going to be funny? Because I've been seeing posts about this. If the 115 get dropped, man, I'm gonna make them look silly. I've been writing shit down all season, all fucking season. And if this happens, that comes to fruition, I'm blowing you the fuck up.
I might take the day off from work just so I can have fun on X and social media all fucking day. With a drink in my hand and just going off all day, pulling up the receipts and sipping some Captain and Coke or a beer or whatever it might be, and just enjoy myself, because that will be the official end to all of this crap. Because UEFA's already been proven. Fuck off. We didn't do nothing. You couldn't prove nothing. Bye. So there's no more UEFA coming after us. So once this one is done and we're proven innocent, it's party time. So it might be you burn a PTO day, and just have some fun on the socials. Because there's receipts for days on this. So
many. Oh my God. What do you see for this match, Joe, that will take us over the edge and capitalize on them?
For this one, because it's going to be the derby, I do think our stars are going to have to shine. This isn't going to be maybe a Kanji pulls a goal out of his hat on a cross or something like that on a corner. This is going to be Kevin and Phil and Holland are going to need to show out and produce goals and assists for us. We need our stars in these games. They know what it takes to win in a derby like this, so we need our stars to do what they do best, and that's score and make changes. So,
I burned up his ears. I burned his ears up.
The old AirPods I charge these bad boys, and they still are giving me trouble. So we'll see what happens. But we're here, and I can hear you, so we're good. But yeah, stars got to do what they need to do, and be solid defensively. We've found something. I think the last 2 weeks we've not conceded against either opponent, and we've been very organized defensively. So that's going to need to continue. And then Kevin, Phil, and Holland are going to need to do their thing.
Yeah. Max effort.
Not a revelation. This isn't a revelation or anything you guys don't know listening.
Right.
But I think our stars are going to need to do their thing and show out.
Who's the one player on that team that you think will start defensively, midfield, whatever, that we should exploit, pick on, make waste of?
Whoever they decide to start at center back. Because they're not strong there.
Listen, the French didn't look too bad last game.
So
I'm just saying, like, Harry Maguire actually looked like a fucking player again.
That is few and far between. So I would still like to see him start, because I love to see what Holland does with him.
I hope that he gets diarrhea match day morning. Just so, yeah. I don't know where that came from. That was just the best thing I could come up with.
Random thought though with that. Did you see like Diaz mid game like just blow chunks and get a quick pill on the sideline? Yeah,
I didn't.
When early in the second half, and it stopped for a second because he was grabbing like some medication from somebody on the sideline and was guzzling water in this medication because he had just blown chunks on the sideline. So couldn't even stop himself from playing well by whatever was ailing him at that time. But something got up inside of that dude and still pushed through.
God, I love our players.
Don't you just?
Oh, my God. You have to. You just have to. You just have to. So we're basically at the end of this. We see 3 people in there. We've had a couple of comments. I'm going to reshare them. Just as a, thank you for popping in. Our buddy Zach, West Rick. You gotta tell me how many times I went back and listened to fucking that episode and I said his name wrong twice and I wanted to punch myself every time. Bruh. Listen, I didn't drink champagne tonight, guys. I think this is the first week, I think. I'm not gonna do that anymore because I seem to butcher people's names that I shouldn't fucking butcher. Very easy name to read, and I'm dumb. So there's that.
It happens to the best of us, bro.
It does. But yeah, thank you guys for tuning in tonight. Listen, if you guys got anything else that you want to say in the comments, please get it in now. For the meantime, I'm going to play one more ad for our shirt. But I also have some shirt news before I do that. So maybe I shouldn't show that ad. Maybe I should show the news stuff. Should do that.
Do the newness. Drop the newness.
Do the newness. Okay. So, being that it's Derby week, well, first of all, let me start off here. As you guys saw with the anti-Jenner shirt that we made, me particularly because I'm the one that set it up. I didn't have a great plan when I made these shirts about distribution and getting them to people. So I know that it's probably a little weary to you guys. If you've read the webpage on how to get a shirt, me asking for your address, I know that seems a little sus, considering that you don't really know me. I promise you I wouldn't show up at your house. First, I don't really have the funds to be traveling anywhere that often to do that type of shit. But also, I'm not creepy. I just... if you want one of these shirts, I just want to send it to you the best way I can. But I digress. In light of that, we decided that we wanted to switch where we do our shirts from. We actually are on bonfire.com now. I wish to hell that... I'm sorry, I totally got distracted by that comment. Well, I'll get to that in a second. We went on to bonfire.com. We started a store there. We actually have a couple of shirts, quite a few shirts actually already made in there. But since we're talking about this week, as it stands right now, being that it's Derby week, we decided to make a shirt for you. It very original idea, wasn't hard to find, but very easy to execute, and I think that y'all love it. So, I'm going to introduce to you the If You shirt. And. If you ain't on United, fuck it up. If you ain't on United, fuck it up. If you ain't on United, ain't on United, ain't on United, fuck it up. If you ain't. So we got that. That's now up for sale on bonfire.com. Because of issues with YouTube, I am not allowed to put any web addresses to any of our outside stores. So if you guys would like, I can put it here in the comments for you. Give me 1 second. Bonfire.com / can't say the rest of it because we will get in trouble. I'm gonna.
And we'll
make sure.
we'll drop
I want to
that
make
on
sure I
our social
verify that first.
for you guys. Yeah, but we'll drop it on our socials too, so you guys can access it easily.
Absolutely. Actually, hold on. I can just do this. Dum. Give me 1 second. Sorry, I did not plan for this very well. Probably should have had it already queued up, but sometimes shit works like that. There it is in the comments for you guys. That's just one of our shirts. Another one that I designed for everybody. This is actually a play on a shirt that had originally come out quite a few years ago. I updated it for a specific reason, which we will get into next weekend is actually when I'm going to drop it, because this specific shirt, and I'll let you guys know now, this specific shirt is going towards a fundraiser. Both Joe and I deeply believe in mental health. We believe that it is an issue across not just the United States, but across all countries. We want to show how much that we care about your mental health and other people's mental health. So at the end of the week, we'll be dropping a shirt. It'll look kind of similar to this, but it is really specific to our OSC. Being that we're in the DC area, we want to give back as much as we can, not just to our club, but to our community. So in light of that, we dedicated this shirt that we'll be releasing next weekend to the Mental Health America in Alexandria, Virginia. So with all of that, this one I like to call Take Me Home. As you can see, this is actually the actual coordinations of Manchester, and it has a very specific dot right where the Etihad is. Thought that was a pretty cool idea. If you guys want to pick one up, like I said, you can go in the comments and you can order them from there. There are several different varieties of fabrics and stuff for the shirt. Not only that, cuts. I believe there's hoodies. There's also long sleeve T-shirts. There is also long sleeve sweatshirts. Go ahead, check the store out. There's a couple of more other things in there. I'm not going to show you. You can just see it for yourself. For all of the Cap City Blues people that tuned in, I want to let you guys know again, thank you so much for your love and support, and also for being so welcoming to my family. It's not very often that I bring my son and my girlfriend, his mother, to these events, just because I don't really like my kid in a bar atmosphere. But they showed so much love and so much respect and so much courtesy that he felt like he was at home, and he has even asked to come back. So he will actually be with me again this coming weekend at the Derby. So if you guys are in Washington, D.C., get your asses down to the Ugly Mug. Come hang out. Come have a good time. Cheer on your city. And there's that. I'm going to address the comment. I believe this is from our buddy C. Snyder. I believe Chris. Is it Chris? Which matchup in March are you each looking forward to the most? I mean, shit. I mean, we have such a packed schedule with such high teams. Joe, you go ahead.
I have to go Liverpool. As much as I was leaning towards Arsenal originally, that is more than likely going to be 1v2, and we win that. We go up and back into first. And then on a personal note, my daughter plays for Liverpool, so there's a lot of connections there, and some shit talking I could do at practice. So for me personally, there's too much connection going on between Liverpool and City, and because it's going to be for first place, I have to go for that one. Especially because it'll be Klopp's last go around with City and Pep since he's stepping away from Liverpool at the end of this season. I think that one it's going to be a absolute barn burner and going to be a wonderful match to watch from both sides.
I'm going to have to echo that sentiment, but that's not the only one. Little story about me. If you haven't read my bio on the website or anywhere else that's been posted, I believe we had it on Instagram there for a while. Prior to me walking into this sport a couple years ago, there are several factors as to why I did not watch football. One of the big factors for me, there are, where I live in Virginia, most of the people that I know around here are either one of two. They are either, and I only know one Arsenal fan. Shout out Jason Morgan. Most of everybody that I know that grew up playing football, or just were fans, are typically Chelsea or United. I didn't have a problem with Chelsea fans. They always seemed to want to teach me the game, which I appreciated. Always wanted me to be a part of it and watch matches with them, and I always fucked it off. I was like, that's boring. What made me hate, I think, maybe even the game for as long as I did, were the conceited, stuck up, know-it-all prick United fans. They ruined the game for me for so long. And up until I did not realize that there was a counter team in the same city, to which I love. I have always loved Manchester. Manchester has been a staple in my youth because of the Manchester scene. Growing up listening to the Smiths and Oasis and the rest of the bands, I always had my eye there, but I could not support Red. So here we are. I'm now in it, a couple years now. I still hate them just as much. So for me, United is the match I'm looking forward to the most this month. I should be looking at Liverpool a little bit more because of point separation and all that, and where we are on the table, but I hate United that much.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if I could, I would tie up every United fan's hands behind their back and I would punch them across the face, each one of them one time, just once.
Straight right fist.
I sometimes you have to choose violence. Sometimes. I mean, when you hate something so much, I mean, I hate. If anybody actually knows me, is listening, has been listening for a while, knows that I'm a Pittsburgh fan. I'm from Pittsburgh. I bleed black and gold. To me, United are the Ravens. I hate the Ravens. Absolutely hate the Ravens. So if anybody understands the depths of hate that a Steelers fan could have for a Ravens fan, you understand the depths of hate that I have for United. Does that answer your question, Mr. Snyder? I believe that's your last name. I think it did. Well, listen, I'm pretty sure I shouted homie out. Not shouted out, but hit him up in the inbox. Told him I wanted to talk with him a little bit. You want to respond to that message, bro? You just laid me on red.
We want to engage. That's why we appreciate you jumping in. We appreciate the jumping in.
Exactly. What I understand, Homeboy is in the DMV.
With a Jets logo?
Homie,
I need more info. Let's talk, bro. We gotta talk. Hit us up somewhere. We need a.
Let's talk, bro. We can be friends. It's okay. We're not just people on a fucking screen. I promise. So the comment section, aside from him, has been decent compared to last week's. It could be better. It could be better. We were up to 10 solid viewers from what I saw at one point, and then they all just flash in the pan, gone. Listen, guys, stick around. Tell your friends. If you like hanging out with us, they'll probably like hanging out with us too. Sometimes we say crazy shit. And guess what? That's the beauty of being American. We can say whatever the fuck we want. And it's not to be pretentious. It's not to be fucking any of that bullshit. We have perspective. We study the game. It doesn't matter how long we've been a part of it. We know the fucking game. We do it every day. We've gone through every little facet aside from playing. Joe has played, so that's different. But we're here for you. We want you to be a part of this community. Continue being a part of the community like you guys have been on our social medias. You guys have been killing it lately. With all the likes and comments and shares and stuff like that. Big shout out to John Owen across the pond. Me and him have been talking a lot lately. Absolutely stellar guy to talk to. Stellar guy to get to know. Big shout out to him. And again, I want to shout out our homies at Hollywood, Kit Packs. Don't fuck with them. Because if you fuck with them, you fuck with us. And we're on 2 coasts. So we got you. Right.
Covered up everywhere, baby.
We'll shoot darts across the pond. We got to, too. All right, guys. That's all we got for tonight. Thanks for tuning in. Be sure to tune in next week. Make sure that you hit the like, subscribe, and the notifications bell. That will tell you every time we go live and when we're about to go live. Any shorts that we have posted, what have you. So till next week, I'm going to leave you with... How do you do that? Let's fucking go. See you next week. Deuces.